Chelsea are entering the final day of the season with complete chaos surrounding the club, from Thomas Tuchel brutally snubbing Cole Palmer and Levi from England's World Cup list, to terrifying reports suggesting Enzo Fernández could genuinely leave Chelsea this summer. As Fabrizio Romano confirmed Chelsea's first signing of the window in Valentín Barco, we will also break down the growing fear around Josh Acheampong's future, the huge Morgan Rogers transfer battle, and finally, preview Chelsea's massive clash against Sunderland with European football on the line. We have a lot to break down, but before we dive into it, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. But if you have been following me for a while, you know the drips. Help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's dive into it. Look, we need to talk about Thomas Tuchel, because what just happened in the England camp, it makes zero sense on a human level. But with my Chelsea hat on, we might have won the lottery. Cole Palmer and Levi are not expected to be part of Thomas Tuchel's 26-man squad. Let that sink in. No Cole Palmer, no Levi for the World Cup squad. The initial reaction: I am gutted for the players on a personal level. We want to see our players representing their country on the biggest stage. But then, Thomas Tuchel himself stepped up and explained his line of thinking. And honestly, it sounds like he's trying to convince himself more than he's trying to convince us. Palmer wasn't as decisive as previous season. He wasn't available for us a lot and wasn't decisive. He also competes in the right half-stem position, where we have decided for Jude, Morgan and Epps, who are outstanding players, had better season and more decisive in our camp than Cole Palmer. And there is no questioning his talent and what he can give you in moments. But still, the decision was against him. Not as decisive. Look, we use numbers and metrics to judge players, not just casual eye test. Yes, Cole Palmer's campaign this season was frustrating. Injury hampered his progress, and hitting only 13 goal contribution across all competition means he wasn't carrying us on the back like he used to. His fall from elite ranking has been crazy to watch. But leaving a player of that caliber completely out of a 26-man tournament squad while taking Ivan Toney from Saudi Arabia, that is classic stubborn Thomas Tuchel. But let's take off the England glasses for a second and look at the bigger picture for us. Look at the absolute luxury we are looking at this summer. Palmer, Colwill, Joao Pedro, Xtoval and Andre Santos. Every single one of them is getting the entire summer off. Do you understand how massive this is for Xabi Alonso and Chelsea? While the rest of the Premier League is running their stars into the depths of North America, our core creative hub is going to be sitting on the bench, recharging their battery and reporting for preseason 100% fresh. Cole Palmer can completely rest, heal his body and come back with that cold, vengeful look in his eyes. But moving on, we need to talk about Enzo Fernández, because the news dropping over the last 24 hours isn't just rumor anymore. It feels like a coordinated briefing. Honestly, it's terrifying. Look at what Mikel Delaney puts out. Real Madrid will make a move to sign Enzo Fernández, with sources close to the situation saying there is a very strong chance that Sunday's clash with Sunderland is the last game for Chelsea. Let that sink in. Sunday against Sunderland might genuinely be the last time we see Enzo Fernández in a Chelsea shirt. And if Madrid wasn't bad enough, Miguel Delaney followed up by dropping Manchester City are also interested in Enzo Fernández, but that may depend on the future of Rodri. Enzo Maresca has a good relationship with the Argentine. Enzo Fernández was a Maresca royalist and often talked him even after the Italian departure. And before you think this is journalists fishing for clips, the update from Spain and Germany completely backs it up. Look at this report. Manchester City is going all out for Enzo Fernández. Interest is concrete, and there already been some informal chats with the player's entourage. Enzo Maresca's arrival at the City club could be key in the operation. Then Florian Plettenberg from Germany basically confirmed that the wheels are already turning behind the scene. Enzo Maresca is one of Manchester United's desired summer targets and strongly wanted by Enzo Maresca. Initial talk behind the scene has already taken place. The two Enzos share a top and very interesting relationship. Now let's look at the reality before we panic. Enzo has hit 22 goal contribution in all competition for the second season running. The elite numbers for a midfielder. But because of the incentive wage-based structure Bliko put in place, his salary is actually going down next season because almost all his teammates has been below average. It's insane. Even the loyal player is going to look at that and look at how the club is being run and feel deeply unhappy. Let's be honest, Bliko hasn't matched Enzo Fernández's ambition. He's a natural winner, So if he wants out, I get it. My actual problem, I don't trust those clowns upstairs to invest that money properly. I've watched these sporting directors make transfers for years now. Do I honestly trust them to take a massive fee for Enzo Fernández and find a suitable replacement? Someone who can instantly guarantee us 22 goal contribution from midfield next season? I heavily doubt it. We are talking about a world-class creative hub. I have zero faith that the people running this club have a real plan to replace that kind of quality. But moving on, just when you think the news cycle can't get any more chaotic, Fabrizio Romano drops a trademark bomb on us. We have officially secured our first signing of the summer. Chelsea agreed to sign Valentín Barco. Here we go. Agreement in place with the player as RC Strasbourg will let Barco after impressive improvement this year. Chelsea ready to proceed for the Argentine midfield from June. So Valentín Barco is officially on his way in from June. But look, let's be entirely fair to Barco. He's highly rated, incredibly talented player who has shown massive improvement in France this year. There's a serious amount of hype built around him, and physically, he looks ready for a step up. But the second this broke, my mind went to a specific, very worrying place. Are Bluco seriously trying to use Valentín Barco as the direct replacement for Enzo Fernández? Because if that's the plan, it makes absolutely zero sense to me. Expecting Barco to walk in and replicate what Enzo does for us creatively is a massive delusion. Going from Enzo Fernández to Valentín Barco is straight up downgrade. It's that simple. And I'm not saying Barco is a bad player. He's clearly a top prospect. But if you are talking about rebuilding a squad that can actually challenge at the absolute highest level, this is not it. This type of signing is not going to help us compete for the Premier League or even lift a major silverware anytime soon. If this is the bold answer to losing a world-class 22-goal contribution midfield, then honestly, I really don't know what we are doing here. But moving on, if you're actually talking about replacing that elite attacking output, the rumor mills is spinning hard right now. Ben Jacob dropped a massive update while speaking on the United stand, and it puts us right in the middle of a massive summer tug of war. Chelsea and Manchester United are the two main clubs to watch for Morgan Rogers at the moment. There is a chance he could communicate where he wants to go before the World Cup. A figure of £80 million, maybe even more if there is a bidding war, is expected to be enough to sanction a sale. Look, if you have been watching the channel for a while, you know Morgan Rogers is a player I really like. And this isn't the first time I'm talking about him either. I was breaking down his game last summer when we were actually heavily linked to him. He's incredibly talented, versatile, and can easily operate off the left or right through the middle. But if you are being completely real and looking at this objectively, I have just one major issue with signing him. Rogers is a player who blows hot and cold. He looks absolutely unplayable and turns it on for one part of the season. Then he completely goes cold for the next stretch. So we have to ask ourselves the hard question. Is investing £80 million or potentially even more if a bidding war breaks out actually a good investment for us? Now we can argue the entire market is completely inflated right now, and that's the tax you pay for a top Premier League talent. And to be fair, he's still a very good profile. Honestly, he's significantly better than some of the transfer we saw last summer. But £80 million for an inconsistent forward is a massive gamble. And even if we decide to go all out for him, there is a massive reality check we need to face. Why would he choose us? Let's look at the facts. We don't have Champions League football to offer him next season. If he decides to stay at Aston Villa, he has Champions League guaranteed. If he decides to join Manchester United, he has Champions League guaranteed there too. We are asking a top talent to buy into a project without the biggest European incentive. And against that kind of competition, it's going to be an incredibly tough sale. But moving on, I wish I could tell you the bleeding stops with the first team stars. But the rot of this transfer window is spreading all the way down to our brightest academy talents. If you thought the Enzo rumor was stressing us out, wait until you hear what Ben Jacob dropped about Josh Acheampong. Manchester United has scouted Chelsea's Josh Acheampong. Chelsea have always insisted he's not for sale. However, my information is that the player would be quite interested in exploring options if he doesn't feel he's going to get a regular game time under Xabi Alonso. Chelsea also are looking for a new starting centre-back. This one hits different. It genuinely looks big for us right now. When you look across the squad, it feels like every single one of our top players is flirting with a move away. It makes you sit and wonder, is this just the media doing what the media does, linking our best asset to rivals because we didn't achieve Champions League football? Or is there a serious fire behind all this smoke? Think about it. Think about the sheer volume of reports we have dissected recently. We just talked about Enzo Fernández being chased by Madrid and Man City. We have got Marco Correa heavily linked with Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. It's looking absolutely mad out here. I've even seen unhinged rumors linking Kopama to Manchester United, and now it's Josh Acheampong. Look, if you want to talk about a player I highly rate, it's Josh Acheampong. And I don't just rate him because of the data or his raw defensive ceiling. I love him because he's proper chills. He feels the badge. He has the exact kind of tactical versatility and physical profile to seamlessly fit into Xabi Alonso's system. Whether that's at right back or stepping up as a modern centre back, I desperately don't want to see him leave. If the board goes and brings in a starting centre back and completely blocks his pathway, we are going to push another elite talent right out of the door. We cannot afford to lose a talent this gifted to a rival. I just hope he stays, gets the assurance he deserves, and build his future right here at Stamford Bridge. But moving on to the Chelsea vs Sunderland game, and everything comes down to this. Game 38 of the Premier League season. We are travelling up to the Stadium of Light with our entire European future hanging in absolute balance. It's been a completely chaotic campaign under Ethereum boss Callum McFarlane, and with Xabi Alonso already locked in to take over the permanent hot seat next season, we have exactly one final job left to do on Sunday. Let's look at the numbers, because the mathematical permutation of this final day are completely wild. Right now we are sitting 8th place on 52 points. As it stands, that secures us a Champions League playoff spot. But if we handle our business and win, Brighton happens to slip up at home against Manchester United, we leapfrog us into 7th for a guaranteed Europa spot. But right below us, Sunderland are sitting 10th, just a single point behind us. Regis Lebris has done an incredible job with them, completely confounding all relegation expectation. If they beat us and Brentford drop points at Anfield, the Black Cats secure European football for the first time in 53 years. They are going to treat this like a literal cup final. Tactically, we finally find some desperate momentum on Tuesday night, snapping a brutal winless run with a massive 2-1 victory over Tottenham. Under McFarlane, we have shifted our underlying numbers towards high possession, averaging 58.1% control. We are generating a healthy 1.54 expected goals per 90. But the clear glaring issue, our defensive form away from home is deeply concerning. We haven't kept a clean sheet on the road since earlier March when we beat Aston Villa 4-1. We have conceded in 15 consecutive matches across all competition. And Sunderland is the worst team to face when your defense is leaking. They set up in a rigid 4-3-3 and boast the 4th defensive record in the entire Premier League. They already beat us 2-1 at Stamford Bridge back in October. They are going to happily sit in a low block and use Brian Brobley's physical presence on the counter to try and compete a historic league double over us. History isn't on our side yet. We have managed just one win in our last 4 trips to the Stadium of Light. In terms of team news, we have got a massive boost for the front line. Joao Pedro missed the Spurs game with a minor knock, but he trained and is expected to step back into the 11. Our captain Reece James and Levi Colwill are also being tipped for a start after being carefully managed through their recoveries. So this is how I expect us to line up: Sanchez, James, Chalobah, Colwill, Cucurella, Caicedo, Santos, Neto, Fernandes, and Joao Pedro. We have to dictate the tempo early, lock down their counter-attack, and secure 3 points. We need to secure our passport to Europe before the Xabi Alonso's era officially kicks off. And with that said, that's the end of the video, my friends. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Igobi.